Hello and welcome to another Warcraft III audio commentary. Today we're going to be watching another W3 Arena map, or game. I guess this is again a ladder game from the W3 Arena. Again, there's a link in the description as usual when I do cast W3 Arena games. And today we're going to be watching two players you probably know. One is Cechi, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm just going to go with Cechi. He is spawning as the Orange Undead. In the lower left, this map is Last Refuge 1.3, going to be going up against Saturn, spawning in as the Purple Night Elf in the upper right. This is, of course, going to be seeing a Demon Hunter first, coming out with a AOW creep, and this, of course, is an AOW creep that's in a great spot. You can creep out to Screen Camp, and then you can move over here to this Orange Camp. Not a problem. And now we can see over here that Cechi going with the DK first and some ghouls. A fairly standard opening. We do have a Wisp, a Scout coming down here to scout out this whole stuff going on down here. And, you know, so yeah, all kinds of good stuff. Absolutely all kinds of good stuff. You can pretty much just feel the good stuff in this game. Just, I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. So here we do see up here, you know what, I've been meaning to turn this off. I'm sorry, hold on 1 second. I've been meaning to disable mouse scroll. I kind of been relying on it too much. I can rely on the middle mouse button that I can do, but that's about it. So we can see this Ancient of War going underway now. We can see, of course, the Demon Hunter is going to be able to go ahead and pick up a Gloves of Haste, getting the experience as well. Very nice. You can see the Death Knight going to pick up Rod of Necromancy and going straight over to the Night Elf's base. Going to try to do a little bit of harass. You can see him opening with ghouls, of course. Getting to do a 5 ghouls, maybe a 5 or maybe a 22 or 24 food tech. We'll have to wait and see just what he decides to do. And we can see the Death Knight now coming over here, getting his way up here very quickly. Looks like it's going to be a 24 food tech, and that's a fairly standard. That used to be the very old standard timing that we saw pretty much every game for undead players to do. It gives you enough wood going into tier 2 and allows you to pull your ghouls pretty much exactly when you would want to. Over here we can see that the Night Elf player is in his base. He hasn't begun teching just yet, throwing down a second Ancient of War just in case. A bunch of ghouls coming here, saving that skeleton. Very nicely done. And of course going to be able to save that Wisp no problem as well. Just, of course, the goal of the undead player here is to deny, to delay creeping, to just chill out, you know, and wait a while. Pretty much, the whole thing is you don't want the elf just Ancient of War creeping to his heart's content, and so you harass him. It's a pretty simple thing, trying to deny the tech. Of course, a lot of times you'll see elf players, just in case they do lose a Wisp right there. They normally won't, but you can potentially lose a Wisp to a coil if you don't know if the undead has gone Unholy Aura just yet. Otherwise, you really shouldn't lose a Wisp if there isn't a coil, but maybe if you detonate one, but you know, it just depends. And so, but now we do see, of course, the elf player has begun attacking at that point. We can see, of course, the undead player has also done a 24 food tech, and now it does going up to 26 food just to get another ghoul out. And we do see that the Demon Hunter is in a bad spot here. I'm sorry, in a great spot is what I meant to say, as he was pretty much able to avoid being surrounded by the ghouls, being able to wake up the creeps, and he knows that if he does get surrounded after he got that staff of teleportation, he's not in a bad spot. And you can just see him going to go ahead and staff out right now, and that's going to allow him to pretty much come up here, go get those Moonwells utilized. As you can see, he's going with lots of archers, 2 archers at least. Well, I guess not lots of archers. I thought there was an archer up here, so it looks like he's going 2 archers. Nothing too serious. It's about a standard amount of archers right there. And of course, here we do see these ghouls are up here. I believe the low HP ghoul, yes indeed, coming back to the base. You don't really want to be using that. Here comes a graveyard as well, and a ziggurat, just so you can go ahead and pick up a second hero when he hits tier 2. And of course, that graveyard, therefore, pretty much making fiends, really. It looks like he's going to be doing that sort of a build. We'll have to wait and see exactly what is going to happen in this base right now. As you can see, the elf player is still unable to creep, and just because the undead player providing a lot of aggression up here, and that's really what you want to do as the undead player. Like I just said, you know, you want to just try to deny the experience that the elf player can have by as much as you can, as long as you can, and that's really the goal. And of course, at some point, you're not going to be able to deny them experience any longer, and you can at that point creep, or you can go for their Wisps, you can go for Moonwells. You have a lot of options as an undead player. Being level 1 on your Death Knight at tier 3, it's not the worst thing ever. I mean, ideally, it's not ideal, but it's really not the worst thing ever if your opponent is just then being finally able to creep, if you can just deny them all the way up to tier 3, and you have your Lich out, and you have a Nog out, you have Frenzy Ghouls, because then at that point, you can pretty much, you don't even need to really creep, you just have map control if they don't have a level 3 Panda or something. It's very easy to just beat back their armies at that point. You can see the undead going straight for that tier 3 tech. Probably going to see a lich coming out as his next thing, next choice. I might be seeing a slaughterhouse going down, because sometimes you'll slow down the slaughterhouse and then get the lich out a little bit later, or go for the Naga second. Looks like he's going for the Naga second, okay? Going for a very heavy aggression build. As you can see, pulling those 2 ghouls that were in his base, putting a couple more ghouls back there that were taking damage, and of course the one that's being attacked by that demon hunter going to go back to the base as well, because that one's going to be too low when he comes up here and actually is able to rejoin the undead army to actually do anything. Up here we can't see with that Naga, since he was able to deny the Ancient of Warcraft for so long, he thought that by now maybe the Night Elf player would be creeping that out. Turns out that's not the case. As you can see, picking up a Naga second for the Night Elf player as well. Now that's interesting, because normally I see Panda versus this build, but maybe I'm wrong. Naga second, I mean, Naga second can certainly work. It will allow him to provide a little bit of additional map control at tier 2. Could be very interesting to see. We do see, of course, an illusion coming in from this Demon Hunter. This will probably get mana burned or something. Maybe just trick the undead. Yeah, there's or the Night Elf, and there's the mana burn on him, and he's just going to take a little bit of extra damage right there. As you can see, 4 archers. Now, of course, if you go with the Naga second, you do want to have additional archers. You don't want to just do it with 1 or 2 archers. Having 4 is about a good number. You want to have that focus fire ability on top of the Demon Hunter and just kind of take map control, and that's what I think we're seeing this the Night Elf player trying to do right now. Having map control, that would be good, so he can creep and get those levels. But at this point, it looks like the undead player is still in a better position here. With that Unholy Aura, it looks like he's going to be able to pick off a archer right here, blocking with his DK, very nice. Down goes the archer, picking up a level 2. Well, I'm sorry, level 2 was already picked up on that Death Knight, I just realized. So yeah, it's not too bad. We do have, it sounds like a fiend just coming out. Did I hear a fiend? I heard a fiend, I did. And there it is, Slaughterhouse. And of course, Black Citadel about to be done for the Night Elf, or for the Undead player. And the Night Elf player as well, just now beginning to start his tier 2 tech. As you can see, throwing down 2 Ancient of Lores. And yeah, and there you can see that there's an illusion. Right, you're going to see the mana burn going off on the Demon Hunter. Might see a surround on this Demon Hunter right now. That could be a potential issue for the Night Elf player. Looks like he's going to be okay, though, because there is an Ancient of War there as well as this Archer, but might see an Archer going down instead this time. And yes, indeed, Archer will go down. Maybe we'll see a surround on the Demon Hunter right now. There should be enough mana for at least 1 coil for that ghoul if he wants to. Yes, indeed, there it is. And that ghoul goes all the way back up to full life. As you can see now, the bit of an odd choice there for the Undead player. Maybe a mistake on his micro, running those 2 ghouls back towards the Naga, and he loses a ghoul for that. So that's unfortunate. At this point, we're probably going to see Ghoul Frenzy being researched. There it is. There's a statue. Destroyer form also being queued up, and at some point, once he has enough food, needs a little bit more food, he'll be able to start training his Lich as well. So sometimes when you're in a battle like that, very aggressive play, you don't have enough time to really, or you forget one of the 2, to actually just go back and build a Ziggurat or something. But yeah, not a huge issue. As you can see, we're going to see that Naga turning around and slowing this Demon Hunter, trying to save this ghoul, but not going to happen, because ultimately there's a Boots of Speed on Saturn's Naga himself, so he's going to be able to, as well as a Gloves of Haste actually, which helps him chase as well. So 2 really good items, going to be able to take down that ghoul. But it was a really good, this is still good harass by the Undead player, even though he just lost 2 goals. Still good harass. He did kill 2 archers, so it's not all that uneven right there. And as you can see, he's pretty much denied any experience really coming into this to this Demon Hunter just now, finally getting level 2 just a couple seconds ago. Level 1 still on that Naga. Still hasn't been able to AOW creep this camp that he wanted to, and normally you'll see that that'll be crept out almost immediately. So it's a really good play coming in from the Undead player, definitely. Of course, the Orb of Corruption hasn't picked up by the Naga. You can just use that in the meantime while you wait for that Lich to get there. And essentially, it does the same purpose on the Naga as well. Down here we can see that the gonna have a Destroyer Lich, Destroyer Fiend and a Lich on its way out right now for the Undead player. And up here we can see that the Night Elf player finally being able to start ALW creeping up here, and you can probably see this is probably about to hit tier 3. There it is, yes indeed. Bears on their way out at this point. Of course, those don't have Master because you do need tier 3 for that, but that'll be picked up very shortly. And as you can see, the Lich has now come out. Now we can look at the food counts: 46 food for the Undead player, 39 for the Night Elf. So both players are fairly close on the food count, but it looks like we might be seeing some aggressive play coming in from this from the Undead player. Once this Death Knight does hit level 3, and he's very close to level 3 at this point. As you can see, creeping out very aggressively, creeping out the shop of 4. That was really Saturn's natural shop right there. You can see that Lich has rejoined the army. Of course, Frenzy has been researched. There's 2 fiends out. Ideally, you have 2 or 3 fiends, and he could bring these ghouls, maybe. Does he have enough wood? Yeah, he has enough wood to really bring 2 or 3 of these ghouls. You probably bring 3, because 1 Frenzy ghoul should be enough if you have this much wood to deal with that, no problem. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if you brought all of those ghouls and then just took back for a fight, and then, or push on maybe on this elf's army at some point, and then just send back the low HP ones, and that would probably work just as well. As you can see, because he does have in excess of gold, or wood, and you can see he's coming up here scouting out, making sure that there is an expansion going up for the elf player. This is about a normal expansion timing for the elf, 10-11 minutes in the game. You might see an expansion going up around that time, maybe even as early as 9 or 7 minutes, but 9, 7, or 8 minutes. It just depends on what kind of thing. But if you're seeing a tier 3 expansion, you know, normally somewhere around the 10-minute mark, give or take a couple of minutes there, and you're going to see that that's when the expansion is going to come up. And we do have a wisp moving into position. It could potentially build an expansion, but you know, I'd be surprised if you started to go for one right now with the way that the Undead's army looks. Would you see that the Wisp is going to go ahead and get a detonate off on just the Naga, the Lich, and the statue there. Not really going to drain a lot of mana, but it's a little bit of mana. So hey, as you can see, the Naga is down to 200 mana out of 405 mana. That could potentially cause some kind of problem for the elf player, or I'm sorry, for the Undead player. I don't really know. You can see that there's an Ancient of War right here creeping out, tanking all the way down to 6 HP. So very cutting it close, as you can see, and yeah.
Summoning is complete.
Let me go ahead and chill out. There we go. Sorry about that. As you can see, there's a destroyer moving up into position up here to look for that wisp. Going to go ahead and kill that wisp. Doesn't want the Night Elf player to just be able to throw down an expansion whenever he feels like it. And down here we can see that looks like both players might be going for this red camp. Maybe. Looks like no. Looks like the Undead player actually going to come back for this mercenary camp, maybe, or the gold mine, and the Night Elf player going to be able to creep out this red no problem and even undisturbed. So that's a good little experience gain advantage for the Night Elf player when he decides to creep this out. Unless the Undead player creeps this and then goes for the red, in which case, since the Night Elf, nope, looks like that's not going to happen, and the Night Elf player now beginning to creep this as the Undead player comes down here to creep out the mercenary camp. 2 oranges or 1 red, what's better? Probably 2 oranges. In all honesty, you get really good items from the oranges. As you can see, he does have Wand of Mana Stealing, Potion of Invulnerability on that Death Knight. 2 really good items, and I'm not sure what he just got. Boots of Quell Loss. Not the greatest thing. You can put that on your Naga if you want. Give him a little bit more attack speed, but nothing too huge. Here comes his Shade. Going to be able to scout out the Night Elf army, no problem. And a Boneyard just going up right now. As you can see, 2 fans, I'm sorry, Cechi, getting a attack upgrade. That'll be the first attack upgrade for those ranged units. And they're at 50 food, banking up about 1,200 gold. He could bank, he could officially break right now if you wanted to, and probably be just fine. Actually went ahead and sold a, probably that Wand of Mana Stealing. No, sold the Boots of Quel'Thalas. Indeed, yeah, that makes more sense. That's 200 gold, just getting that. And, of course, passing the Potion of Invulnerability, which is a 15-second invulnerability potion, over to that Lich level 2, getting close to level 3 on that Naga, of course, level 3 on that Death Knight. So if he can get level 333, he'll be in a really good spot. And as you can see, really banking really hard. As you can see now, the Elf player has begun to throw down an expansion, getting an Ancient of Wind up in his base as well. So you can see that he's probably going to go for some hippos, and, of course, bears and hippogriffs. Works pretty well against this kind of unit mix that the Undead player is going for. And as you can see, the Elf player is at 60 food. Once this Trees of Life up here finishes, that will put him up to 70. But now you can see that the Undead player has begun to break up, keep going with an Abomination. 2 Frost Rooms are queued up, 2 Fiends are queued up, and we can see that the Undead player is just going to get level 3 on that Lich right there from that creep camp right here, this little Goblin Laboratory. And now the Undead player can defend his base, no problem. Of course, these Dryads have been trying to do some damage to the Slaughterhouse. Of course, Dryads themselves do virtually no damage to buildings. They do like 7 or 8 damage, I think. It's really a small amount every hit, as you can see. So it's nothing really to be too concerned about. But we will see that level 3 is on that Demon Hunter, level 3 is on that Naga. So unfortunately, the Night Elf player is highly outcrept at this point. As you can see, 333 versus 33. That could be a big deal. Scroll of Healing on the Death Knight, Scroll of Healing on the Naga. That Abomination is out. That first Frostworm of getting about to be out. And here comes those ghouls. Those Frenzy Ghouls, of course, he does have a Frenzy Ghoul up here. He did scout this expansion attempt from the Night Elf player, and he does have a Shade on the Night Elf player's army. So he knows everything he needs to do. He knows where to be right here on the map. As you can see, he knows that since the Night Elf army is right here near this tavern, he doesn't really want to move out too much until he's got all of his army coming out right there that he wants. Here comes that Frostworm just coming out right now. a little bit mistiming there, but whatever. Out the Frostworm comes, and up he comes. So, as you can see, the Undead army at 73 food, and the Night Elf army at 60 food. This could be a push to end the game from Cechi, no problem. As you can see, there's a Frenzy Ghoul right there. These units are set 2 attack ranged upgrade units. No upgrades on the melee units there, other than the Frenzy, of course. And yeah, this could be a good game. I mean, it's gonna be very difficult for the Night Elf player to defend this. As you can see, it's 61 food, and again 76 food. So comparatively, of course, 7 of that food for the Undead player is currently tied up in this production queue right here. 3 right there, so that's 10 food that he doesn't really have in this fight. But here comes that fight underway. You're going to see the bears immediately taking the focus fire, of course, with those magic damage units. You can kill them very, very quickly. As you see, one bear is already down. Of course, one bear getting staffed out. Now we do have a hippogriff on the way in here. We can see the Frostworm taking a fair amount of damage, being focused now by both the Dryads a little bit and by the Demon Hunter. Or, yes, indeed, with the Orb of Venom. Going to see a coil on that Frostworm. It's only level 2 coil, though, so it doesn't do a ton of damage, or heal a ton of damage. And down goes that Frostworm. Of course, he's already done a lot of damage. This Night Elf army is in a really bad spot. As you can see, going to see that Naga go down for the Night Elf player. Down it goes. Of course, staff was on cooldown. He did staff out a bear. And Demon Hunter now, you can see another bear going down. Demon Hunter trying to go for the Lich here. Of course, the Lich is in a really good spot with those items he has. He's not going to die most likely. Pops that 15-second invulnerability potion. He's not going to die for the next 15 seconds in this fight. The Demon Hunter won't last that long. He's going to go ahead and pop his potion of invulnerability himself, but it's only 7 seconds, and he should still be fine. Here comes another Frostworm into this fight. At this point, there's no way that the Night Elf player can deal with this. As you can see, he's going to be forced to TP out on that Demon Hunter, and there it is. He's going to lose this expansion. Going to lose this Ancient of War. Going to lose the Hippogriff as well as he TPs out. Seeing that Shade boon, that Shade going to move right back towards the Night Elf player's base, and indeed he's going to be able to scout out that there's really nothing over here. As you can see, the 59 food for the Undead player. Does have another Frostworm coming out now, up to 66 food very quickly. As you can see, just massing units in that Night Elf player down to 41 food. So, not a good position for the Night Elf player whatsoever. Of course, you can see at this position point, maybe the Night Elf will go for a expansion attempt in this spot or this spot, but he needs to do something, I think, because he's going to have a hard time actually winning the fights going forward if he doesn't get a superior economy going, because he is currently quite far behind, about 20 food supply behind, in fact. As you can see, is Cechi up to 70 food, Saturn down to 44 food, so... You know, it's going to be difficult, of course, with also considering the experience level advantage that we do have for this Undead player, 444, and very close to level 5, you could maybe 70%, I'm sorry, probably 60% of the way through level 4 on that Death Knight, but still a whole lot better than the level 4 on the Death Knight, or I'm sorry, on the Demon Hunter, which is level 4, and again, about the same, as you can see. Let's see, a little bit more experience on the Demon Hunter, or I'm sorry, on the Death Knight than the Demon Hunter. No, a little more experience on the Demon Hunter than the Death Knight. I said it right the first time. Or maybe I'm wrong. No, yeah, actually the Death Knight has more experience at this point. I think he was creeping out, so I'm not really sure if I was right or wrong. But either way, Death Knight does have a little bit more experience at this point. And so yeah, this fight, this is going to be a complete walkover. As you can see, this fight for the Undead, much better position. That Naga still isn't out for the Night Elf, and here comes a ton of damage focus fire on that Demon Hunter, going to go ahead and force him to use 7-second invulnerability potion. I'm going to kill one of those Wisps. Going to see a detonation coming in from the other Wisp, and here comes that Death Knight, the Demon Hunter going to go down. And yeah, this fight definitely taking a turn for the worse for the Night Elf player. Probably going to see a good game at any point. As you can see, just a Tri-Hero coming in for this Undead player. Comes a second Frostworm, and there's the good game. So congratulations to Cechi. Just one of the little games. Nothing too special about this game, but it was an interesting game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching. And again, a really good play from Cechi. Of course, he's 2 fan. Just really good play from him. And of course, not bad play from Saturn either. Unfortunately, Saturn just didn't have what it took. I think he needed maybe another 2 minutes to defend that, and I think he would have been able to hold that expansion with another 2 minutes into his army. Unfortunately, Cechi banked better, and Cechi was able to push into upkeep much faster than Saturn was, and so it's really good timing by Cechi to win that game. So congratulations, and good play, and if I can do another cast, then I will, and if not, then I'll see you next time.